gardening for kids, and fabulous family futures. She is also a #1 best-selling author. Welcome your super host, Patrice.
And welcome for our next speaker. We do have Sandy Austin here. There she is. There she is. We'll bring you up right away. There you are. There. And Sandy has a very rich background in education and counseling. And she is the founder of what she calls a bionic team. And bionic is an acronym for believe it or not, I care. And it has so much impact on our youth. And she's very big on creating that culture of care. And today she wants to present about teaching our kids to care. Welcome, Sandy.
Thank you, Patrice. It's so great to be with you and your listeners today. Appreciate this opportunity.
So tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into creating this bionic team and really being big on creating cultures of care. I know it's very much needed, but
It
I'll
sure
let
is.
you tell the story.
Thank you, Patrice. The best way I can explain it is screaming sirens, flashing lights, yellow crime tape. Nothing could have prepared me for what I was about to face with the Columbine school shooting tragedy. And then 2 years later, at my own school, at one table in art class, there were 3 students. Only three. Hello. Let me start over. At the beginning of that school year, there was one a table at an art class, and there were 3 students. Just 3 months later, only one student was left at that table, and the kids started asking her, "When are you going to kill yourself?" We had to change those conversations. That was 2 years after Columbine. We had 4 suicides at my school within 8 months. And so what happened, as I was talking with the different people, with the different students at these shootings, what happened is I found out that all those guys, they were all males that shot up the school or took their lives. What happened is they had told their friends their plans. They had said, yeah, some maybe not specifically suicide, but why should I just keep going? Why should I, what's worth it? Why should I hang in here? Or, I'm so mad at so-and-so, I could just kill him. So the kids had mentioned things like that, but their friends didn't say anything because they didn't want them to get mad at them, or they didn't want to break a confidence. And so I thought, we have got to empower these kids with how to reach out to their peers. And so what I did is I started a school club called the Bionic Team, which stands for Believe It or Not, I Care.
Yeah, I love that. And so many of the kids, like they think that like nobody cares. As I say, like and so let's dive into this a little bit more and what were you doing in this club that you started? And how do you go about uh, creating that culture of care? And why it's so important to have that culture of care?
Oh, Patrice, and we just heard of another school shooting today in Minnesota. It
Oh,
just breaks my heart. I ended up counseling in the midst of 4 school shooting tragedies here in Colorado. And so as I was finding out they were all young men that happened, all these things that happened in Colorado with the shootings and the suicides at my school, is we had found out that they had all been either new, sick, bullied, hospitalized, or lost loved ones. And then what happened is other things piled on top of them, and so then they became suicidal or homicidal. And so that's where I thought, if we could number one, empower the kids to do something when they're hearing that their friends, or even just their acquaintances, kids in their classroom, if a kid talks about shooting up a school in a paper or something, so that they are paying attention to those signs out there. And so I thought, if we could do some automatic outreaches for these kids that are going through those things, then we can hopefully stop them, let them know they're seen, they matter, and they're not alone. So what Bionic Teams do, so it's basically a school club. and we're elementary through colleges worldwide. And that's what's exciting. But what we do is for the kids that are new, we have a new student lunch or breakfast to welcome them in and to find out where they're coming from, what are they interested in and getting involved in school, and that type of thing. The biggest problem or biggest issue of new students is feeling isolated. They're new to a school. They need to meet kids right away. And so what we do is at our new student lunch, our bionic kids, they're talking with these kids and finding out what are their interests, what are they interested in. And so that's what's great. Then for our kids that are out sick for 5 or more days, what we do is we send a get well packet with a personalized card, with some homework helps, with some tutoring information, with an inspirational saying and a personal letter saying, hey, we heard you're sick and we just want to reach out to you, let you know we're here for you and there's support for you. We miss you at school. Then for kids that are out sick in the hospital, what we did is, so I led bionic teams in 2 different types of schools initially before I started it as a nonprofit. So my first one, it was a small bedroom community. So everyone lived really close. And so what happened is we went to the hospital with a mug and Hershey's Kisses or mug and balloon. And we just said, hey, we're here to encourage you and just see how you're doing, that type thing. After we did one of those outreaches, one of the parents said, she came and she followed us out into the hall and she said, thank you. My daughter's been here for a week and a half. No one from school has called her, has stopped by or anything. And she was starting to feel forgotten. I've noticed in the last 2 days, she's been spiraling down and she has not been healing as quickly because of that. She was with her feeling forgotten. She said, thank you. And you don't even know my daughter. That's powerful. Now, my other schools where it's not a bedroom community, where people live too far, we give them a mug and Hershey's Kisses. We call the parents, say, hey, we've got this for you. If you want to come and grab this for your son, daughter, and then you can take it to them at the hospital. For kids that lost loved ones, what we did is we do pie deliveries to the families of those students that lose loved ones. And we also do a pie delivery to the staff member at school for those guys. But what we do is the kids knock on the door and say, hey, we're from the school. We heard you lost a loved one. We are bringing this pie. Hopefully you guys can come together as a family and be able to talk and share special memories about that person you lost. And so we've done that. But also then for kids that live too far away, like at my second school, we couldn't do the pie deliveries or the hospitalization deliveries. So when the kid came back to school, we gave them a mug and some comfort food like a pudding packet, a hot chocolate packet, Hershey's Kisses, things like that, just so that they know we're thinking about them. And then they'll have that mug to remember that we were thinking about them during that tough time. Kids that are bullied, we came up with something called Prevent Bullying by Just Saying Hi. As a school counselor for 24 years, I went to these conferences and they said, train your kids for 6 months and then pay $5,000. It's like, we didn't have that time or that money to do that. So I came up with Prevent Bullying by Just Saying Hi. H is get help. We tell the kids, if you see bullying at school or online, report it, of course, to your parent, but also report it to someone at school as quickly as possible. They know what to do with the bully and the bullied student. But the most important thing we say is the I, and we say for the kids, you guys, you got to initiate contact with that bullied student, hopefully sometime that day. So what we say is if you saw someone was bullied, just if you see them in the halls, hey, how you doing, Jason? What we do is like say, we hear that Jason Tafoya was bullied that morning. We send a message out to the bionic kids and the kids know they cannot, that's all confidential. They can't share that stuff. But so we tell the bionic kids, if you know Jason Tafoya or if he's in your classrooms or whatever, just start initiating contact. So the kids, they see him in the library, hey, how you doing? Or hey, I see you're eating lunch alone. You want to sit lunch and have lunch with me and my friends? Just little things like that where they can contact them, because then what happens at the end of that day, that bully will see 6 kids talk to him today. So he's not isolated. So I can't get away with the bullying. So that's what's so powerful there. And what's amazing, Patrice, is these kids get so excited with doing all these outreaches. And then what happens is they start seeing, hey, Miss Austin, can we do other outreaches? At the beginning of Bionic, they said, Miss Austin, there was a student that was killed in a car accident at another school. Can we do a poster or something for them? So we do these posters for the kids, and they put it up in their cafeterias and or somewhere in their school. And the kids go up and think, wow, the kids from that school really care. And it's very precious what we've seen happen with all these outreaches.
Yeah, I love that. And as say you're empowering those kids to what it is to care, what it is to
Yes.
care. And you know, it can be something simple like that, you know, little mug or comfort foods, or just making that contact and saying hi, and so that they aren't isolated. It's, you know, it's and most of the time I know, like I'd worked in the schools for a little bit there too, that the kids, if they're not exposed to something like that, they kind of go along their way with their little cliches, and they they're just not even aware of
No,
what it is to care, really.
exactly. Oh, it's amazing. Patrice, what's amazing is that someone asked one of our students, we were doing a presentation at the state counselors conference, and they asked one of our students that were presenting with me, so what have you learned from Bionic? He said, well, let me tell you last week. He said, last week on Monday, we had a new student party, and there was a kid that came. Again, his parents were divorced, and I found out he wanted to be involved in anime. And so he said, I knew kids in anime at school. So I introduced him to him right there. So the first day he had a friend already, and that friend got him into that anime group. And then he said, then the next day we did a hospitalization delivery. And he said, that's the first time I'd ever been to a hospital for someone else, you know, besides my family. But he said, we had been prepared. We'd been taught what to do and what to say and everything. He said, so we really made a difference in that guy's life, that student's life. And then he said, then 2 days later, we had pie deliveries to the families that lost loved ones. He said, you know, there were tears and that type of thing, but I was able to see Miss Austin was able to kind of tell us, okay, you guys follow my lead. If, you know, if I say, hey, can we give you a hug? If they're crying or something like that. And he said other times we've been places where we haven't hugged them because there's been no emotion or anything like that. But sometimes Miss Austin just says, can we give you a hug? And he said, so now I understand how to reach out to people. He said, I never knew what to do, what to say to someone that had lost a loved one. I never knew that. He said, now I know what to do on that. What's amazing, Patrice, is the oldest kids that I have worked with Bionic in my own schools for 14 years, they're 40 years old now. And what they're saying is, Miss Austin, it's amazing. I know what to do. And I am just moving up quickly in my business. He said, my business needs a Bionic team because we have employees who are new, who are sick, who are bullied, or who lose loved ones. And he said, I know how to reach out to them. And what's exciting is one of our kids, he works at Price Waterhouse Coopers right now, and he is moving up faster than almost anyone else that has ever been through that company because he knows how to bring people together. He knows how to see if someone is struggling. He knows what to do about teamwork and everything. It's incredible. Again, one of my girls during COVID, she called me and said, Miss Austin, you know, I learned from Bionic. There was I noticed the food insecurity during COVID. And she said, I went to my church and said, we need to start a food bank. She said, I can't do it all. You guys need to, you guys know where the resources and everything, but I will help lead it. We never taught her how to do a food bank, but we taught her how to see the needs and then how to look for people that can help meet the needs. These kids are teaching their kids. So those 40-year-olds, they're teaching their kids how to care, their own children how to care. They are movers and shakers in their businesses, their churches, their communities. Oh, and that's what is just powerful, seeing what these kids are doing and then how they're carrying it the rest of their lives.
And I love this. And we've got Marilyn here has asked the question. He said, like, what kind of training do the Bionic kids on the teams receive? What do the kids have to do to be a part of the Bionic team?
Ooh, great questions, Marilyn. Great to see you here. Hey, girls. So the how the kind of training. So what happens is, so in order to start a bionic team at a school, it costs $1,200. And so we give them the starter kit manual. We give them a bionic in a box with some goodies and mugs and t-shirts and things like that, pens and pop sockets and all that type of thing. But we have training where we have that manual that goes through every kind of outreach. But what we do is, as the bionic staff, we lead the kids through information. We talk to the kids about that are new student team about talk points, about how to reach out to the kids. And we just take them through a training where they are acting out, being in a new student lunch and talking to the kids and all that type of thing. So we talk them through that. We lead them through. Being a school counselor for 24 years, I was also a teacher for 10 years before that. So being around those school kids for 34 years, I've worked and have learned how to train these kids and talk their language and understanding what they need to know. So that's what's great is, like I said, these kids are walking down the hall, they see a kid, they know what to do to say, they know what to say to them. And so that's what we talk with them. When we're talking the beginning of the year, we bring the new student team kids together and say, okay, this is what's going on. When you are meeting these kids at the new student lunch, maybe their parents got a promotion, so it's a real exciting thing. Maybe they lost their parent, so it's a very difficult thing. Maybe their parents are getting a divorce, but there are different reasons. So we talk to them about how to understand what to do and what to say to these kids and that type of thing. So we talk with them with that kind of training all the way through. And what's interesting, Patrice, is when we had the suicides at Green Mountain at my school, I was the peer counseling co-sponsor. Those were the kids that we trained for 6 months about what to say and all that type of thing. 2 of our kids during those suicides became suicidal because there were other things they were dealing with that we hadn't prepared them for. And so that's where I learned through all those experiences, what are the things the kids need to know? And so these are very simple outreaches. They're just light touch. They're not counseling. Our kids don't counsel. They don't do mediation. Mediation programs and peer counseling programs across the world, what they're doing is they're finding that there's a lot of litigation. There's a lot of lawsuits because the kids don't know what to do. They don't have master's degrees or they don't have counseling degrees. And so that's where we tell the kids, this is what you do. If a kid brings up something that you don't know what to do, come and bring them to the school counselors or the school staff that are leading the bionic teams. So I don't know if that answered your question.
I think so. And there was another question here. He said, have you found that kids extending, oh, what, no, what, okay, here's this one. The first one, we got a few in here. Okay. You mentioned that the bionic kids know what to keep confidential. How do you teach and ensure confidentiality?
Patrice, what is so precious about this, and this is what it's just, there have been different pieces of bionic that I've been surprised with, that we didn't plan, but we were surprised with. So what happens at the beginning of the school year? We have the kids and their parents sign a confidentiality agreement. In all my years of doing bionic, we have never, ever, ever had anyone breach confidentiality because we talk to the kids and we are sharing with them the seriousness of what they are dealing with, and that this is life and death situations. And so we talk to them. So the kids never want to share anything. They know this is my responsibility. I'm honoring this person by not sharing this information. And so that's what's very powerful with this, is by teaching that. Another very surprising situation is the leadership skills that the kids have learned with bionic. Our bionic students, well, let me tell you about an example. At one of our presentations that we did at a state conference, the person who was in charge of the top scholarship program in Colorado came up to me right before our presentation and said, Sandy, hey, we're getting applications from your bionic kids for our scholarship application. So I just want to learn a little bit more about bionic. And I had kids there too doing the presentation. Immediately after that presentation, she made a beeline to me and she said, Sandy, to tell you the truth, we thought your kids were embellishing on their applications. We have never seen anything like that. Kids sharing what they're doing in schools and the impact they're making. She thought there's no way. They must be lying about this. She said, actually, they're being humble and they're not telling us everything, all the incredible things that they're doing. So she said, Sandy, I'm going to my hotel room right now and I'm adding bionic on the leadership experience part of our application. And what happened, Patrice, is our bionic kids started getting the top scholarships over the student body presidents of our schools, the top math brains, all these other people. Our bionic kids were the ones that were winning the top scholarships, the top awards, because they were truly making a difference. It's incredible. One year we had 235 kids on our bionic team because they said, I want to make that kind of a difference too. And often the kids that are that we reach out to, they are saying, I want to join Bionic because I want to make that kind of a difference too. So that's what's powerful, is these life skills these kids are learning and they're taking them on the rest of their life. It's amazing. In my 34 years of education, I was student council sponsor all before Bionic. I was National Honor Society sponsor. I did so many different things. And I've never seen any of those kids. The Bionic alumni, they keep in touch with me. They send me bridal announcements and baby shower announcements and all these things, telling me what's going on in their lives, and tough things too. They share with me the tough things because they know I care about them. But so what's amazing is these kids are, now I just lost my train of thought where I was just going with that.
That they keep in touch with you and they
Yeah.
know you care, and so
Yeah.
they want to, you've built that relationship. You've got a very tight relationship with it. And
Yes.
we do have another question in here. Okay. Have you found the kids extending what they learned from Bionic into their communities and showing compassion beyond their peers?
Oh,
That's a great.
yes. Oh my gosh, there's another part. There are so many parts I haven't shared yet about Bionic. One of our things at my last school, someone contacted me from a senior living center and said, Sandy, I heard your interview on the radio. I want to have a Bionic team at my senior living center. Do I have permission? I said, yes. Tell me what you're thinking. She said, Sandy, when these people come here, they either just lost their spouse or they're getting memory issues. And so what they do when they come, they just hole up in their room. They don't come out. She said, if we had a Bionic team here from our residents, we could get them and introduce them to people, like-minded people, so they can find friends right away. And so there are several other things they did, but she said, but we also want to come and spend time with your kids. I said, now, do you know you're an hour away from us? She goes, yep, I want to come. And so we started having monthly table talks where we would have questions for that month related to that holiday. And so our very first question that we asked was, if you could have lunch with anyone throughout history, living or dead, who would it be and why? And so the elderly, they were saying Abraham Lincoln and Elvis Presley, Marilyn Monroe. Kids are saying Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande. I thought, how is this ever? They don't even speak the same language. Oh, Patrice, I could go on for 20 minutes just of stories there of what happened. For, like you were asking about the kids, what happened is one of the girls, after one of those meetings, what happened is she came up to me and she goes, Miss Austin, this is after our December luncheon. She said, Miss Austin, I can't wait for Christmas. I said, why? She said, at Thanksgiving, she said, my grandma came and my mom told us all that my grandma's getting Alzheimer's. And so me and my cousins, we didn't say anything to grandma because we didn't want to do the wrong thing or hurt her feelings or anything. So we didn't talk to her. She said, but Miss Austin, seeing what happened here, there was a lady in our meeting that she kept saying the same answer to every one of the questions, even though they were different questions. But she said, Miss Austin, seeing how that staff person helped that lady and encouraged her and valued her and everything, I know what to do for my grandma at Christmas. And I can't wait. We're going to love on my grandma. Oh, the day after the Christmas vacation, her mom called me in tears. The girl's mom called me in tears and she said, Miss Austin, I don't know what you did to my daughter, but she said, when I went to go pick up my mom that morning for Christmas, I brought her there and my daughter was sitting there and talking to all of the relatives there. And then when we came in, she stopped talking and we thought, okay, what's going on? Anyway, she said, when I brought my mom home that night from Christmas Day, my mom in tears said, honey, I was thinking about calling you this morning and saying I'm sick and pretending that I was sick and that I wouldn't have to come, because she said Thanksgiving was the hardest day of my life, with my family not talking to me when I wanted to see my grandkids and talk to them, and they didn't talk to me, and they were kind of like scared of me. It felt like. She said, today was incredible. It was the best holiday of my life. And I am so excited. Thank you for making me feel loved. And she said, Miss Austin, thank you. And in tears, she said, thank you. You have greatly impacted not only my life, but all of our the grandkids' lives too. And so it's just very powerful. So it's exciting what these kids learn, their life skills that are making a
Oh,
difference.
so much impact you have here, and we could go on for hours. There is actually another little quick question there, but we've run out of time, and I know you do have a gift
Yes,
for.
I sure do. I sure do. If you go to giftfromsandy.com, I have something called Caring Culture Tip Sheet. What's going on is October 10th, we have something called 1010 Eye Care Day. And what that is we encourage everyone, all the kids in our schools, to reach out to 10 people that day, one person each hour, to make a difference in 10 people's lives, to see how much of a difference each school could make. What's going on? This is worldwide. Now, what the kids 2 weeks ago, they said, well, for example, we say, tell the kids, okay, at 7 o'clock when you wake up, call your grandma and tell her you love her. At 8 o'clock, before you leave for school, put a Hershey's Kiss on the pillow of every person in your family so that they know you were thinking about them when they go to bed that night. When you get to school, bring a flower for the secretary. And the kids do things all day. At the end of the day, we bring a platter of cookies or veggies to the police department and fire department. Then we say, okay, you guys, there are 3 more hours in the day. So when you go home or to your neighborhood, see what you can do to make a difference in their lives too. So the Caring Culture Tip Sheet is one sheet of ideas that anyone can do on that day. But we also have 1010 Eye Care Day kits for schools, for businesses, and for families of 50 pages that you can do on 1010 Eye Care Day to make a difference in 10 people's lives. The last school I was at, you guys, the school did over 24,000 outreaches that day, not just our students, but the parents at their businesses, their siblings were doing things at their schools. So it's amazing. It's so exciting what these kids are doing.
Grab that gift from you, and I just love this. It does. You can show how much impact you can have, and the kids too. They learn too how they can have impact. Thank you very much, Sandy.
You're welcome. Thank you, Patrice. Great to see everyone here. I know a lot of you guys from Forbes Group, so thank you for being here, and everyone else. Great to talk with you. Let me know if I can help you in any way. Go to giftfromsandy.com, fill out that information. If it's okay, we'll put you on the mailing list. If you don't want it, you can just delete that from that point on. But I'll be in touch. Let me know how I can help you.
Beautiful.
Thank you for joining us for another amazing session from the Health, Wealth, and Wisdom Parents Edition. For the recordings of all sessions, plus an amazing VIP bundle, upgrade to VIP now. If you run into any problems during the summit, email our support team at admin@rolemodelmaker.com. Stay tuned. We have another fantastic guest coming right up.